The woman serving life in prison for killing 90s Grammy award-winning singer Selena will soon learn if she will be set free. 64-year-old Yolanda Saldivar has filed for parole 30 years after the singer's murder. In 1995, Saldivar was convicted of shooting Selena at a motel in Corpus Christi, Texas. At the time, Saldivar was the singer's fan club president, and the murder allegedly stemmed over missing money from Selena's business accounts. Her parole review date is set for March 30th. Joining me now is the hostage negotiator who secured Yolanda Saldivar's surrender back in 1995, Larry Rucker-Young, former team leader and primary negotiator with the Corpus Christi Police Department. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Hey, break this down for us, because you have a personal connection there. Not only was it your job, Mr. Rucker-Young, but you also wanted to make sure that Ms. Saldivar survived that situation safely. Can you take us back to that day after she shot Selena and she barricaded herself in her truck for hours? How did you get her to surrender?
First thing that we need to do as hostage and crisis negotiators, we need as much information as possible, and we need to reach out there and try to establish a rapport with whoever it is that's involved in dilemmas and trauma in situations like this. And you got to do this thing as quickly as you can and with some knowledge of the person and some knowledge of the situation. But, rapport is something that has to be done and has to be done quickly.
And I'm guessing you're also trying to speak to someone where you don't know what their mental state may be, and they're clearly agitated.
Yes, sir. When anyone's involved in a situation where there's death, and I'm sure there's a certain level of agitation, of the unexpected, you're involved in it, whether you did it on purpose or you didn't, it was accidental or you intended to do it, it doesn't matter. You got to think that this person is going through a lot mentally, and you don't even know their mental state before what their natural mental state was, but now you're trying to walk them through, and you want them to be apprehended or get the attention that they need through medical or through psychological or whatever it may be. But we all know, and they know, that they're going to have to go through the justice system, and it takes a lot.
And going through that justice system also means serving out the conviction that was adjudicated by a jury of our peers. But Ms. Saldivar reports being threatened by other inmates who she says want justice for Selena. Could that part play into her getting a possible parole?
Sir, I'm not sure about that. That's up to the parole board. Of course, I'm not involved in that in any aspect at all. My duty is to try to get people to survive through a situation, get them moving through the justice system, have some confidence in me that I'm not there to harm them, that the police aren't there to harm them. But we all know there's got to be an outcome.
Mr. Young, in that regard, then let's talk about the job that you do or did, and specifically what it entails. Because more often than not, and I have to believe in this situation as well, you're walking into a number of variables where you don't know what the circumstances are. If someone is barricaded in a particular situation, you don't know if they're likely to do self-harm or have opportunity to harm someone else. How do you go in, and in this particular situation, how did you approach that, not knowing what the variables were?
Was born on this day in 1891. Although she spent much of her life as an unsung hero,
that's my system.
That's okay. Can you still hear me, Mr. Young?
To share her story.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't want to run out of time with you. Can you talk to us about that situation, how you approach that situation, not knowing what those variables may have been?
Yeah, in the background of every situation, there is, at least with the Corpus Christi PD, we work in conjunction with CID, or Criminal Investigation Division. There are detectives out there on the ground. Anything that they know stemming from that situation that they can work on, they're out there on the ground working on it. You have detectives at the hospital, on the scene, and other places trying to gather information, co-workers, family, whatever. And so during that time, they're feeding information back to us, who goes through my secondary, who then presents it to me so that I can have talking points and learn more about what their background is, what the situation is all about, and try to talk these people down and gain some confidence in them. And through that, there's a great amount of rapport that you got to work on. And working with Yolanda, the rapport worked out pretty good.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.